we're going to have a look at making one of these double flap cards, which has got a belly band, opens up and the card is inside. So you'll work that out as we go through the video. All the measurements for the pieces are in the PDF that goes with this, or you can find them on my Craft Along blog on the Crafty Carols Cards website. So already done my envelope, stamped a little Easter bunny and a little Easter chick on my envelope, so that's ready. So to make this card, you want one piece of your colour. So you can see my, yes, I need to put a new blade in my trimmer, but one piece of the colour, which is a normal A6 card front size. So it's 10.5 by 14.8 centimetres. So that is your back piece. It's just one single one. It's not a folded bit at all. And then the piece for inside, I do have the measurements somewhere. That piece is 9.9 centimetres by 28.4, scored at 14.2. So this is the actual card bit where we're going to put the greeting and make up the rest of it. Then you need a piece of DSP, which is 9.4 by 13.7, which is going to go on there. And then I actually had to work out all the metric sizes for this. It took me a while, but I have now worked out that these two pieces need to be 9.8 square. So 9.8 by 9.8. And when you've got these pieces, these are going to form the diagonal flaps at the side. So they're forming these flaps here. So you need to think about, if you've got a directional pattern, have a think about which you might want to do. So this is going to be the reverse of mine. I don't want that, but I will see part of it. So I don't really want, if I see this half, I actually need to see that half. So at least they're slightly pointing up, because I want these so that they look like that when they actually, hang on, that way around, no, that way around. I should have, yeah, I might score that a different way, because actually that way around would be better, wouldn't it? So you want to work out, if you've got a directional pattern, work out. For this, it doesn't matter on the other side because it's just an ordinary pattern. This one I am actually going to score the other way because it'll look better. I've already scored it, but it doesn't matter. I can score it the other way. So to score these, you can use your trimmer, and you've got this wonderful guide of your blade. So if you put both points into the channel, it's easy to score. And always start with your scoring blade on top of the paper that you're scoring. Don't try and bring it onto the paper because you'll damage the corner. So start in the middle and then just score both ways, so you've scored the line. And then we can simply fold them. So once we've got the score lines in, we want to fold, being very careful to make sure the points meet, then crease well and use your bone folder to get a really good crease along there. And we'll do the same with the other piece. So we'll fold along the score line, making sure the points meet first, because that's the most important bit, even though you're hiding one point, because otherwise the crease won't be right down the center of it, which is not what we want. And bone fold, and that's our two pieces. So, oops, I've already done that bit too, so there we go. What I haven't done is, I haven't got the belly band bit. I'll get that in a bit. I thought I'd already cut that. I have to go and cut a bit of that, but that's fine. So to put all of this together, it's fairly simple. What you've got to remember is we do not stick this card down until we've stuck the side flaps on.
No, that's right.
And guess how I know that? Because guess what mistake I've actually made?
You've done it.
I've done it. I always do these things. So again, watching this, I've only got to worry about the internal pattern on here, but I want it to come out so that it's at least slightly facing where rainbows should face. They won't really see that too much, but I'd run out of the other paper. So I want this one like that, same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick those onto the back of the main white piece of card. And I am using Tombow if I can get any out of my Tombow. This was fairly new recently as well, isn't it? Obviously been doing a lot of crafting. There we go. Now, when you put this on, I do it sort of pointing up, and you want it, if you work it out, it's just very slightly less than the width of your card. So you want to make sure it's right in the middle. So there's just a tiny bit of white card either side. Do you see?
Yeah.
Close. So it's only a tip because it's basically 0.2 difference. So it's just 0.1 at the top and the bottom. So we stick that on, and we'll stick the other one on. Other side in the same way. And this is why I use Tombow, because if I haven't got it quite right, I can move it. I've got a little bit of wiggle room, and you want some wiggle room with this one. Lovely. So there's our two flaps coming down over the center. So now I can stick it onto its base card. Now I've stuck the flaps on. So it just sits in the middle of that piece of card. Like that. There we go. And we can stick this piece on here. Make sure I've got it opening the right way. That's always something to check. But I have, which is fine. I stuck that piece on there. Now I stuck an extra sentiment. So I'm just going to trim that because it's just that to be straight. So I've done the sentiment from my Welcome Easter Retired, sorry, but my favourite Easter set, might have a wonderful Easter. And I want that to go in the middle of here. So I'm going to hold it in the middle, move one flap, hold it down again. Now I know where it needs to go. So it needs to go at the bottom of that rainbow, and just with a bit of that one showing. Now you want to stick this down flat because you don't want any dimension here, because it'll disturb how your flaps work. So bottom there and over a bit. So I've stuck that in there, and then we have that coming over. Now I'm going to do the inside. I'm not going to finish all the colouring. What I've done on the inside to show you how it'll look, I won't finish it now. On this one, I've just stamped a sentiment and a couple of pictures that I have then coloured in. So I'll do the same on this, but I'm not going to do that while you're watching. The next piece to do is the belly band bit. So I need a strip of DSP, which is 2.5 centimeters by 25.5. Now you say that's difficult because the rainbows and sunshine paper I'm using for this is only 6 by 6. So I can't get one strip. So I've actually, for this, I'll show you on here, I cut 2 strips, 6 inches by 2.5 centimeters. I know I'm mixing measurements, but it was easy. And then I overlapped them at the back and overlapped them at the front. So one piece wrapped around one way, one piece wrapped around the other. I've stuck a join at the back in the middle, and then the front join is hidden by the decoration you put on it. So we want 2 pieces of paper. I'm just going to get it. There's me thinking I've got all of my paper done. So I'm going to use this piece. Might be a slightly smaller belly band. I'm not quite sure how wide that is. I'm hoping it's about 5 centimeters. Let's have a look. Oh, it is wonderful. So I can actually make it 2.6 actually, and then that would be halfway through there. And just measured it. Lovely. So there's my 2 pieces of my DSP. So I'm not going to wrap them like this because I want the joins at the front. So I'm going to put one there. And when you're wrapping anything, when you're doing belly bands, I always do it on the finished card. And the reason is you don't want it too tight. So I'm just going to gently wrap it round so that it's not tight against the side, but equally I want it to sit there. So I'll wrap the first piece around, and then keeping the diagonals the same way, I'll wrap the second piece around. So I could trim those down a little bit more. And that overlaps there. Yeah. That's okay. I might trim those a little bit just so that I can make sure that the overlap is underneath my thing at the front. So when we've done that, I'm going to stick one bit down. I'll often use tape for this, but for speed now I'm just going to use Tombow. I would usually use tape though when I'm sticking down belly bands because I really don't want them to come apart. And then we can do the same thing at the back. We're just going to overlap that bit so it goes to there. Again, for speed, I'll just use Tombow today. for that reason. That's it. So that's the belly band round the card. And then I've already cut out my front bit. That sticks flat, so it covers up this, the join here. So with this, because I've used one of the label punches, which is just the same width of that, I know that if I put glue between the two side punch bits, I know it's going to stay on the belly band and not go anywhere else where we don't want it. So I'll put that on there. In the middle. Not to one side, that's better. In the middle, there we go. And then using a retired punch, I'm just going to use my Happy Easter and do this. And I wanted to show you how to do this because the Happy Easter, oh, I've lost everything today. There's my block. The Happy Easter sentiment comes as one long sentiment, but I want it looking like that. So how do I do it? I thought I'd just show you. And how I do it is that I'm going to start off and do my happy first. So I can do that by looking over the edge of the stamp. So I need the Y stamped, but I don't want the E stamped. So I'm placing it so that the Y is just on the stamp pad and the E isn't. So that means I can ink up happy without inking up Easter. So we'll put happy in the middle there. And then obviously I want Easter on the bottom. So important, this is my tip, we clean the stamp and then just dab it on your jeans or on a cloth if you're fussy about your jeans, because you want it completely dry, because if there's any moisture, you're going to get a ghost. So we don't want any ghost letters. So we do the same thing with Easter now, keep the happy off the edge of the stamp pad, stamp the Easter. So I've now got the Easter inked, and then I can stick that under my happy. Like that, and I've got Happy Easter without any ghosting or anything. Yeah. So that is how you can use a long way sentiment if you want to make it round or one above each other. And it's simple and easy to do. So then I just need my punch, and I'm not going to do it now for that, but I'm going to punch that out, stick it on, and I'll end up with that. And I can put, that's my other card finished when I've done the inside. So that's how to make the double flap card, and that's a little technique as to how to use sentiments in a slightly different way to make them go where you want them to.